Hi everyone, welcome back to the sports breakdown once again. So this is sort of like an emergency live video that we had to cover because Sri Lanka yet again are in a mess. They're in trouble in Group D right now. So they've lost to Bangladesh as usual. I mean, it happened in the 2023 ODI World Cup as well. But now, for the first time ever, Bangladesh has beaten Sri Lanka in a 2020 World Cup match also. So we have our three guests joining us. We have Akila Senivaratna once again from the sidelines and from who's also does his content on Facebook and on X as well. So hello Akila, it's great to have you back to my channel.
Thank you very much. It's been a while. I think the last time we had was also in a World Cup, I believe. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
good to be
think it
back.
was last year if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's great having you back. And also we have Aravindan.
Yeah,
I think we'll wait till Pawan
Pawan
joins back again.
there.
Okay. That's a bit of a dramatic introduction, I guess.
Yeah, maybe
Pawan
Pawan is
had to
having some
switch off.
problem with the internet issue. Yeah, I mean,
I think the show was still live because
yeah,
none of us are
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
hosts. So
the introduction lasted as long as Sri Lanka's World Cup hopes.
Yeah. Is Pawan there?
he's
Hello.
still not here. I hope he joins soon. Haven't got any sort of
By the way, guys,
message.
one thing to ask regarding the T20 World Cup is that you guys know that 2026 T20 World Cup will be happening, co-hosted by Sri Lanka actually. So, do you guys think that it's a wake up call for Sri Lankan team, as they will be playing a home World Cup in 2 years' time. So, what do you guys think? Like, can Sri Lanka turn around completely in this 2 year?
I think,
Akila, would you like
I
to?
mean, the last time Sri Lanka, yeah, I think the last time Sri Lanka played in home conditions in the T20 World Cup was in 2012. That was and also played the final against West Indies in Premadasa. But personally, I think like yes, it's a bit too hard to say like where the current team will end up within next 2 years. I mean, ideally, you'd want to have almost everyone, but there'll be couple of changes. Like I think some of the senior players who are like past
Yeah.
31 will be you know reaching 33, 34 years, and very likely they can be replaced by younger talent. And I think that could at least be 3 to 4 changes in terms of batters and all rounders, because most of the
Oh,
bowlers are relatively young.
so
And oh, it's good to
I
have
just,
Pawan again.
I just don't know. Internet
Sorry guys,
connection
can you
problems
hear me?
happening
Yeah, I'm
from
so
my
sorry.
side.
Something like sorry guys, everyone. Like my laptop crashed and I had to join back again. I'm so sorry for that. But yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
was just
Pawan.
introducing the guests. So hello Akila. So welcome back. And then we have obviously have Aravindan joining us, who's also very dedicated Sri Lankan cricket fan and who posts a lot of content on X. And if you follow his, I think his account is Cricket Decoded. So welcome, Aravindan, for the first time ever coming to my channel. It's a great pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me here, Pawan. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. And we also have Mahir joining us, who joined yesterday as well, who's going to represent us as a Bangladesh cricket fan.
Yeah.
So welcome back, Mahir, to my channel once again to discuss about Bangladesh versus Sri Lanka. All right, so let's begin, guys, and let's discuss about the match, obviously, and we'll discuss first of all
Actually, doing
of the
travel
toss.
connection. This is often caused by non-stable.
Mahir, if you can, yeah, sorry, just muting you for a second. Sorry for that. But coming back to Akila once again, so Bangladesh actually won the toss and they chose to field first one. Akila, do you think that was the right choice from Shanto first of all, trying to field first on that pitch in Dallas?
I mean, personally for me, I think one of the key reasons why they decided to, field first is because they had a lot of trust in their batting, and possibly since they realized that Sri Lanka did struggle a lot in the previous match against South Africa, they would have definitely wanted to bat first again without letting Sri Lanka chase. Because most likely, like personally for me, I think that there are a lot of what do you say, that they were expecting a relatively low scoring encounter. It was going like really well for Sri Lanka until the batting collapse happened after the 14th over.
Yeah,
So I think at one point it looked like they made the wrong choice in letting Sri Lanka bat first, but when you look at the overall result, it definitely turned in favor of them. I think when it comes to the when it comes to like the I think Pratham Nisanka as an exception. I
yeah,
don't think there were very meaningful contributions. Like when I say meaningful, it's not only the runs, but how fast you score. So with Pathum Nisank as an exception, I don't really think anyone else made a very impactful innings to carry the team towards at least 140 total, which would have still been somewhat competitive. And also, I did mention this in the venting space on X hosted by Grandstand Pod. There were as many as 57 dot balls in the Sri Lankan innings, and 57 dot balls means that it is 9.3 overs. Almost half of the resources have been wasted, and there were a lot of like run scoring opportunities gone a begging. So
yeah,
yeah, I think definitely Bangladesh made the right choice in because they had trust in their bowling, and also if you look at the batting, I I think his name is pronounced as Hridoy, and
yeah.
he
Towhid Hridoy,
he
yeah,
really that innings definitely turned the tables around for Bangladesh. Like 40 in 20 balls with three back-to-back sixes against Hasaranga really changed the momentum to make it less than run a ball. Like by
absolutely.
actually it was less than a runner ball anyway, but when you are having like more than I think 15 balls more than the number of runs to score, it just psychologically puts you in a very easy place. And uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'll save my other thoughts for later depending on the question, and we can move on to others.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Coming to Aravindan, first of all, so Aravindan, like we only made one change today, Dhananjay De Silva instead of Sadira Samaravikrama. But talking about, or to discuss about that change also, but talking about the fast bowling unit, do you think that was the right choice that we went with both Matisha Patirana and Nuwan Tushara today? Because we played with two slinger bowlers, but don't you feel like a Dushman the Chamira could have been more useful in that pitch instead of Matisha Patirana, because we saw how held back Hasaranga was, with Matisha Patirana bowling him in the 8th to 9th over in the middle overs, essentially half the power play ends. Whereas we could have utilized a Dushman Chamira in the power play, and maybe he could have been a threat to the opening batters, especially because it was both Tanzid and this guy Tanzid and I think Sumya Sakar opening. So your thoughts on that, on the playing 11 of Sri Lanka, especially with the bowling unit and with the DDS coming in for Sadira?
Yeah, Pan, I think basically Sri Lanka's team choice is a reflection of the insecurity about their batting lineup. Now, Sri Lanka had seven batters. Now, you had Vanindu Hasaranga batting at number seven. I mean, if we go by the normal order, and when you
Yeah,
have your skipper who is an all-rounder batting at number seven, you need to make sure that you go with 6-5 combination. You can't be beefing up the batting lineup, and that is where
yeah,
Sri Lanka went wrong. And I don't think in both the instances Sri Lanka should have played either Sadira or today Dhananjay De Silva. It showed their insecurity. I kind of feel it shouldn't be a question between Matisha Patirana or Dushmanta Chamira. It should be Matisha Tushara and either one of Dushmanta Chamira or Deshan Madhushankar, because Deshan Madhushankar was the highest wicket taker for us in the World Cup. And he had an exceptional World Cup which landed him an IPL contract. And then he has the left arm angle. And Dushmanta Chamira is Dushmanta Chamira. Yeah? I mean, he has to be in the starting lineup. If somebody else is playing instead of him, it should be Deshan Madhushankar. The reason is, if you see, Pawan, it was told that the Dallas wicket is the second bounciest, or probably one of the bounciest wickets in the US, and that basically means that probably in this World Cup. So you need somebody who has a high arm action, who hits the wicket and could generate some uneven bounce as well. So playing Matisha is a subjective call, and I don't really regret that. But what I do regret is the fact that Sri Lanka wanted to beef their batting lineup and go with 7 batters instead of going with 6 batters and 5 bowlers, because our strength is our bowling. You should back your strengths. And had we done that, we wouldn't have had to rely on Dasun Shanaka to come and deliver the 19th over. And Vanindu Hasaranga came and pointed out that we played 4 frontline bowlers, and that was the decisive point in the game. So who asked you to play 5 frontline bowlers? And even if you go back to the South African game, Pawan, you would see Shanaka and Angelo did a great job beginning. But imagine Deshan Madhushankar or Dushmanta Chamira bowling on that wicket. They could have wreaked havoc. They could have created hell. Sometimes, instead of being 2 down or 3 down, South Africa could easily have been 5 down for 30, 40. That's a totally different ball game altogether. So I personally believe absolutely Sri Lanka should have played one of Dushmanta Chamira or Deshan Madhushankar. And playing DDS, I don't want to mention names, but not DDS. When you play the 7th batter, when you have a bowling lineup that is so strong, the value addition that brought in by the 7th batter is never going to offset the downside of leaving out one of your top-notch fast bowlers. Countries would pay anything to have the bowling lineup that Sri Lanka have, and if you are making one of these players sit out, I think that's absolutely criminal. So I think Sri Lanka got what they deserved, and I think it was a wrong selection playing for going with a 7-4 combination, trying to beef up your batting.
But I just have a follow-up question on that, Aravindan. Like, I think what the issue is with our team is that, our batting is like sort of a weakness, and I think sort of like we had, that insecurity, as you said, like to play 5 frontline bowlers in case, something happens with our batting order. That's why we are always playing extra batter instead of a extra bowler. And that's why we are depending on, our 5th bowler to be a part-time bowler instead, maybe a Shanaka or Matthews. So don't you think it was like the execution of the plan that, we didn't bowl Matthews in the power play, like Hasaranga didn't even attempt to bowl Matthews or Shanaka in the power play? Was that a mistake that Sri Lanka did today?
I wouldn't actually pinpoint that, Pawan, because Hasaranga has his strategic inadequacies. But one thing I liked about him was the fact that by 18 overs, we were done with our frontline bowlers. Because normally when you are defending 124 on any track, you would expect the game to not go beyond 19 overs. And so I think we can't actually fault him. Maybe he could have brought him anyway. But I think, as Akila pointed out, the onslaught by Hridoy in the 12th over, if I'm right, that was a killer blow, because I feel that was the time when probably a Matthews or a Shanaka could have come in. Maybe early on, another place where they could have come in, I was expecting Matthews to come and deliver at least 1 over in the power play instead of Mahesh Tikshana bowling 2 overs. But these are kind of subjective calls which do not actually make a massive difference. Yes, but the only problem is when you go with a part-timer, you run that risk, right? I think the Zimbabwe game where Matthews bowled the last over and Zimbabwe got across the line might have played in Hasaranga's mind, and I don't think you are brave enough to bowl DDS as well. So those are the risks you take when you play a part-timer, and maybe the right time didn't come, and I think we will be Hasaranga had his shortcomings, but maybe not getting the part-timers overs in before would be a little bit too harsh, but that's what inadequate
Yeah,
batting
I think
does, isn't it, Pawan?
yeah, I think
Pawan, you can hear
between
me,
them
right?
was breaking over there, but that's fine, totally fine. Yeah, yeah. You are breaking a bit, but that's fine. If you concluded the point over that,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Now you can hear me, right?
No, it's
Okay.
fine. It's totally fine. It's fine. Yeah, we can hear you.
Sure.
Yeah, it's fine though. We'll just take from the comment section over here, and let's ask Akila to question before we come to Mahir. Aman has said here, for me, Shanaka is a liability. His captaincy and leadership abilities were what kept him in the squad. Now it's time to give someone else a chance to indirectly say to him he hasn't cemented his place. But I want to have a follow up question over this, Akila. Like, who's are the middle order batters that we have? Like, we discussed this on the Grandstand podcast today also on this topic also. But who are the other middle order batters that we have in line? If in case if it drops Shanaka, and Shanaka is performing in domestic cricket, by the way. But what are the options that we have to ensure that Shanaka is going to be dropped in this team if if he's not performing in the international cricket? Who are the options that we have?
Are you mentioning about the current playing 15 for the World Cup or
Yeah,
overall?
I think he's just saying for me, Shanaka is a liability. His captaincy and leadership abilities were what kept him in the squad. Now it's time to give someone else a chance to indirectly say to him he hasn't cemented his place. So that means that whether Shanaka is, he has secured his place in the squad right now, like after what he's performing in the 2020 World Cup, leading to the future of 2020 cricket right now.
Right. So I assume that this is not really to do with the World Cup as such. And time, I think the question is more like, okay, so it's time to look
He's
beyond
also saying
him.
like drop
And
Shanaka and put in a good pacer.
yeah, okay. So I think in this case, it is actually for the T20 World Cup. If you really look at the squad, we have like, especially today, we have exhausted every single all rounder we have in our team. So we don't like if you consider today's match, you only get specialist fast bowlers left to replace in the team because you have only 15, 11, 11 in, 4 on the bench, and all 4 of them are bowlers. Uh, yeah, all
Apart from
four of
Banu,
them are
oh yeah,
no,
yeah,
sorry,
in the
3
playing 11.
bowlers,
Yeah,
1
that's it.
batsman. Sadira. Then you have
Madhushanka,
Vella. Okay,
Chamira,
we do have
Madhushanka,
a
Velal.
Vellalague. Oh yeah. So the only all-round replacement we have is Dunit Vellalague, who has not featured in T20 cricket yet. So he's like
Yeah,
the only player who's yet to make his debut. So
yeah,
yes, there has been a big question on you know I don't want to like mention names as such, like who should be in place of who. But when it
yeah,
comes to fast bowling all rounders, I think it was mentioned in our venting session today that some prospect to look into is Laidu Samarakon, who is able to hit a few clean blows at number 8, and also is a decent fast bowler. So like
I think
it
even
was
Lahiru
actually
Madhushanka is
this
also
was
a good option. I think
yes,
even Lahiru
he
Madhushanka could be a
was
good option,
also
I feel.
considered.
Yeah,
But that also depends on like once again we are using like personally for me, I think using the 7-4 combination is all right, as long as the batters are able to score well, and you have at least two good part-time bowlers who are like very reliable. Thing is like we have way too many part-timers, and none of them seem at when given the when Sanders given the ball in pressure situations, none of them seem very confident in their skill. And I mean it does happen because uh, you know I feel like we should have we exhausted too many of our spin bowling options in the power play, rather than getting the wickets to the fast bowlers. But then again, we like Pawan already said about having two slinger type fast bowlers wasn't as effective as we thought it was, and we could have used a conventional fast bowler who uses height. to
Yeah.
cover batters, because that was how Bangladesh got most of their wickets. If you
Mm.
notice, like I think Taskin Ahmad was like really brilliant. He bowled it a plan. He did his rewards in Mr. Fizer also did pretty well. And
Yeah.
yeah, the one of the counter arguments was like you need to have five good bowlers, because at any point one of your good bowlers might have an off day. That is when you need the part timer to step up, rather than having to always exhaust all of the four bowlers regardless of whether they bowl badly or not, and then have 4 overs by the part timer. So that is one argument in favor of the 6-5 combination. But at the same time, we do have a big weakness in our we do have weakness in our batting lineup, especially the middle order, because statistically we have been banking on the success of our openers, because the openers would build up a good partnerships, and then the middle order has little to do. But uh, you can't always expect the openers to carry the batting always. And okay, that's a question. We don't need seven batsmen. How
Seven
many
better.
all-rounders could have been? Thews and or Shanaka, bring me one more fast bowler. So yeah, that is one
Good
of
suggestion.
the
Yeah.
things, because personally I don't really see having like two very similar players in the squad, because at the same time then, because each one has to have a role. So like like I think the way how the batting lineup is also being sorted out, I don't like. I think it was Vanidu Hasaranga who came in before Matthews. So
Yeah. Yeah. As
like
a
I said,
floater.
I
Yeah.
don't
Number
want to
six.
name.
Yeah.
I don't really like, personally for me. Vanidu is no means a floater, except for that one time he
Absolutely. Against
rescued
Ireland.
the innings in against Ireland. But if he
Yeah.
like he is better off as a like he's particularly good in the 10 to 15 overs. Like I understand, like not because of he's putting that particular phase where he knows there are spin bowlers as such.
Yeah.
But if
Mm.
he should I think personally, like he's not someone who you can trust to stay on the wicket. If Matthews is in the team, then you rather have him in the team to at least buildings. At least it kind of makes sense to include him, rather than Hasaranga to go ahead of Matthews in that sense. But I mean,
Yeah.
there's like too many thoughts going, so I think we can
Yeah.
streamline that depending on the questions ahead. And
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'll
Let's
just
get into Mahir, by the way. So, Mahir, your thoughts, especially on the
I
playing
was
eleven
about
of
to say.
Bangladesh. Yeah. Because
Yeah, bro.
Mahir, you
First
were
and
spot
foremost,
on.
yeah,
Yeah. You can start. Yeah.
yeah, bro. Continue. Yeah,
Yeah, I was just saying that you got your the playing 11 spot on first of all for Bangladesh first of all, and your
yeah.
thoughts, especially especially first innings. If you're talking, Sri Lanka only scored 124 for 7, but we saw Rishad Hossein picking up 3 wickets today. In that first innings today, three for 22 or 4 overs. With he's Google your thoughts on Rishad Hossein, actually the way that he bowled, and why I know from a neutral perspective you might be watching Sri Lanka cricket or not, but I just want to ask, like, why does Sri Lankan batters struggle against spin nowadays? Then back then, with Sangha Mahela, they were brilliant players or spinners back then, Mahir. But nowadays, Sri Lanka struggle against the googly or leg break of even Rishad Hussain, who doesn't bowl much. Yes, he has been playing for like 1 or 2 years, but he's not a proper spinner compared to Mehdi Hassan Miraj or even Mahidi Hassan. So your thoughts towards that, and also thoughts on Musafizur Rahman and Taskin Ahmed, the way that they bowl today.
First and foremost, to all the audience of the sports breakdown, yesterday I made some controversial statement regarding our coach, Mr. Chandraghatur Singh. I would like to apologize in front of the public that the statement which I gave to him, and this Rishad Hossain today we got him because of this because of our coach who when he came back came in the national side of us as a coach. First and foremost, he asked about the leg spinner. No matter what, whether the leg spinner is skilled or not, he wanted to try Rishad Hossain from the very first series. And today, whatever the result you are seeing, it's because it's all the credit today I want to give to the coach, because in throughout the years, throughout the time he was doing coaching with us, I have been criticizing him a lot, and today I feel like he deserves some appreciation from my side. And also, you said that Sri Lankan batsmen cannot play nowadays that much well spin compared to before, when Sangha and other guys used to play. I feel like Sri Lanka, since if you see when Sri Lanka went on to win the South Africa Test series back in 2019, I feel like Sri Lanka cricket system has started to focus more on how to play pace bowling. And then the batters nowadays of this time loves to be more comfortable towards the pace bowlers rather than the spinners. I feel like that one. And also, maybe in the recent times I didn't see that much finger spinners or mystery spinners, apart from some of the guys called Tiksa, or some other guys just come in the rank. But
Mm.
the thing is that
Yeah,
the thing is uh,
yeah. I think we lost Mahir over there. All right, just keep on to your thought, Mahir. We'll come back to you. But coming to Aravindan, once again, I just want to
uh,
take a comment over here from Rohan here. He's saying, what measures Sri Lanka should take to avoid such embarrassing losses happening consistently? Have the talent, but is it the mindset? A very good question over here.
I think, Pawan, it's a tricky question because I personally believe, do we really have the skill set? And maybe not, because where we actually lost this game was after the power play overs, right? And this is not the first time we are seeing that. From over number
Yeah,
7 to 20 in both phases, when Dhananjay De Silva and Charit Hasaranga were there in the middle, you don't
yeah,
expect them to go at probably 180 strike rate, but they should have rotated the strike. And as
absolutely.
Akila pointed out of the 50 plus dot balls that we faced, when you have players in the caliber of Pasalanka and Dhananjay De Silva who are the accumulators, had they converted at least 7, 8, 10 of those into singles or maybe a few doubles, that's the
Mm.
difference between winning and losing. So we know
Yes.
that we don't have the power hitting capacity, that's fine. But when it comes to a context where you just need to accumulate, I mean, even the New York wicket against South Africa, it was a matter of accumulating and scratching your way to 100, 110. On both
Yeah.
occasions, we have failed. So before thinking about attitude, I'm really questioning whether we have the right mindset to adapt our games. We are just like players with one-dimensional approach, because we were quite comfortable playing against Afghanistan and Zimbabwe on flat tracks. And when the tracks change their nature within a game, we are found wanting. So first of all, it will be foolish for us to think that we have the skill set. I think we are lacking the skill set. We are way, way behind the skill set. So there has to be a lot of changes that needs to happen at the grassroots level. And
Yeah.
attitude or mindset is an absolute yes, because attitude or mindset is not about being outrageous and trying audacious things, but it's also the willpower to do the needful. Because if you see, when Liton Das, who was out of form, everybody was highlighting the fact that he was out of form, and Hridoy, he came in and they just seized on the opportunities, right? I mean, they
Yeah.
waited for their moments, they got their moments, seized the moments, and that actually set the game for them. So I would rather pinpoint that it's not just the mindset, but it's a mixture of both skill set and mindset. We need to address both. And
Yeah.
how do we address? I actually honestly don't have an idea, because if you really see power now, look at a team like India or South Africa. Where does their big hitting capabilities or their match awareness comes from? It's come from robust T20 domestic systems, right? Now,
Yeah.
a country
Mm.
like India, we get lost with the IPL and the grandeur of IPL. But what we lose sight of is the fact that the feeding grounds for the IPL is that you have a Tamil Nadu Premier League, you have a Karnataka Premier League, you have statewide Premier League, and their infrastructure is so strong. And what do we
Yes.
have? We have an LPL, which is the only credible thing is that it has been going on. But
Mm.
when you look at the auction, you question the dynamics, and I mean, you seriously question the dynamics and objectives, right? And I
Yep.
think that's what we are seeing here. The players need to play consistently at high levels and high intensity cricket matches of this format to hone their skills. So unfortunately, I think that's a long shot because there's one reason I would like to highlight, Pawan, here is that,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you look at the majority of the lineup was there in the 2021 World Cup, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm on.
Absolutely.
I mean, whom do we have as new players except Sadira
Mati,
and
Patirana and Tushara and yeah, I think
batters?
that's it.
Pawan, I'm referring to the batters especially.
Oh
Look,
yeah, sorry,
Matthews is
Angelo
a
Matthews wasn't there, and then I think
Kamindu
Kamindu
Mendes.
Mendis, Kamindu Mendis, yeah,
So these players have been there at the international level for 3 years, and they are not showcasing the adaptability and haven't developed the game that is required to succeed at this level. So that is a absolutely massive worry.
yeah.
And so I think it's a combination of both, Pawan.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. But coming back to Akila once again, and I want to talk about Kusal Mendis. So here I was speaking yesterday also about Kusal Mendis. I have, again I'll have to unfortunately speak about Kusal Mendis because how many chances are we giving to Kusal Mendis over here? Because it's been 8 years now since Kusal Mendis obviously started his career in 2015. This is 2024. This is 9 years now. Kusal Mendis by then is a senior player now. He's 29 or 30. I don't know what's happening over here, but right now, playing two scores against Tuskin and then playing that shot and getting out to the stumps, I really don't understand about Kusal Mendis's intentions. And then when you have, Banuka Rajapaksa in the reserves, when you haven't even picked Kusal Pereira in the squad right now, and then you have youngsters like Cruz Pulle and Shevon Daniel coming up in the ranks. We've seen in the LPL how many sort of openers are coming up in the ranks. Do you think it's time to exclude Kusal Mendis from the 2020 format right now with the way that he's performing? Because we've given so many chances to him right now. I was backing Kusal Mendis all until now, but I feel right now, the time that he's wasting so many chances right now, we are now getting a good opening platform as well. Either he has to play at number 3 if he's not contributing much as an opener, but he's not even doing that as well. So thoughts on that, Akila?
No, I'm usually the kind of person who very much backs my thoughts of its stats. So, first
Yeah,
of all, like there was a time where it was, I think majority came to conclusion that if Kusal Mendis is playing in the T20 squad, the only possible place he should be playing is as an opener, where he has been exceptional. Right, and his strike rate average, they are the stats there are very much exceptional than any other position, which
yeah,
which is there. And also, right now he is the overall third highest run scorer and leading six hitter for Sri Lanka as well. So,
yeah,
for me personally, what I think is like as one of the most experienced batters we have in the team, there's still a
mm,
lack of consistency because personally for me, I would call someone like Patum Nisaka as consistent, but we can't
yeah,
describe the same with Kusal Mendis because
yeah,
like he is capable of producing big knocks when needed, but it's not as often as we expect. So personally, and also like I think the only other reason why he's still managing to stick with the team is because of his wicket keeping skills. So like as a wicket
mm,
keeping batsman, so like it's not that we don't have replacements for that, but I think couple of years back I did mention that like I feel like not just bowlers but batters in particular need to know that at any point that they have replacements where who are knocking at the door and can eventually lose their place because you can't always hold on to permanent positions. And I remember recently Tilakarak Division interview saying that he should batting at number 3. And I mean personally for me I think like as an opener he is very successful, but at the same time he needs to play more responsibly. And I think okay. I think we don't have a lot of time to speak because I think we lost most of our hosts right now,
Yeah, I
speakers
think
right.
Arvind even joined. Yeah, he had to leave suddenly. But yeah, if you can quickly discuss on this
Yeah,
on Kusal
yeah.
Mendis, if
I
possible.
think yeah. I mean,
He joined
firstly
again.
from
Yeah.
me, I mean, I'm not a very big fan, but if he is capable of something, you expect him to do that. If he can't do that, then it's time to move on and probably give that opportunity to a youngster. Maybe find someone in this year's APL. So you can't, and I don't know whether he would be uh, playing in another 2 years time, because anything can change in some other talented wicket keeping opener comes in the ranks. You never know, but I think like still he has something in him, but he needs to prove it and prove it with the bat.
Sorry
So
to interrupt. Just one pause over there. I'll come to you because Arvindan has to go quickly. But Arvindan, coming to you, just one last question before you have to head off. Like, where can we look into the future of 2020 cricket for Sri Lanka? Do we need a total revamp of the batting order right now for Sri Lanka cricket, or do we have to, because we have a 2026 2020 World Cup coming up in India and Sri Lanka right now? So, do we have to focus on that since we are not in the Champions Trophy right now? Do we need a total revamp of the batting order right now for Sri Lanka, or do we need a changing captaincy right now? Do you think like Hasaranga is not suited as captain, and do we have to give it to either Hasaranga or go back to Shanaka? So your thoughts regarding on that, if possible, on the
I
future?
think, Pawan, I think that's all what we have got, right? The 2026 World Cup. It's absolutely a disappointing thing that we don't have the Champions Trophy next year. So
Yeah,
basically, I would rather suggest it's important for us to get out of this emotional turmoil that we are in right now. I mean, I may sound optimistic, but you never know. The way
yeah,
things are going in this World Cup, you never, absolutely never know.
yeah,
Mathematically, there's a possibility, but
yeah.
the reality is that we are far behind. So it requires a complete system change with pure intentions, Pawan. Because if you really look at the people who are in the system right now, right
Yeah,
from the top, everywhere, these are the very people who broke the backbone of Sri Lanka cricket. So how do you expect them to fix it?
yeah,
Again, as Akila said previously, I'm not going to mention names, but I mean, we don't need to be personal, but these
yeah,
are the people who have been in positions of power previously, have done more harm than good in an administrative capacity, and they are not going to help. The reason why Sri Lanka had a successful turnaround after the 1999 debacle was the fact that the president at that time, CBK, brought in the likes of, if I'm right, Siddharth Vitamoni, Michael Tissera, and it was a bold, powerful move. People with pure intentions brought them in, and they took some very unpopular decisions. I mean, imagine Arjuna Ranatunga, who was the son of a ruling party MP, if I am right, at that time, being axed from leadership.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
it would require drastic changes right from top to bottom. And that needs to be done with pure intentions. And a whole system change needs to be done. But we need to be mindful. We should not be throwing the baby out with the water as well,
yeah,
because how do we navigate these people, and you need to really question certain selections, but a whole system change would be required. So it's not the batting lineup, the skill set that's there, and these mindset shifts don't happen overnight, right? I think we saw a freedom of expression in the games against Afghanistan and Bangladesh, but for some reason, when the conditions got challenging, when the conditions posed questions of the batters, they failed miserably. So we need to
yeah,
manage all that, but the only powerful thing is we need to build this bowling lineup, the core bowling lineup that we have. With the exception of Dushman Chamira, the rest should be at the peak of their prowess when we go into the 2026 World Cup, and we need to get the batters. Probably Banuka and KJP will be out of the system by that time, but we have, as mentioned, Lahiru Madushankar, a few others, Nuani Fernando, uh, the opening batter, the under 19, Shevon
Sure.
Daniel, right?
Daniel.
Yeah.
Sure, Daniel.
So these are few names that are there, and how these people come. And as Akila correctly said, do we persist with Kusal Mendis? Yes, he has been good in T20s, but is it are the returns worth the investment that we are making? So we shouldn't be emotional, but for God's sake, I think one thing we need to do away with, we need to get away from half-baked all-rounders. I'm sorry for using this word. If you
Yeah, no
are an
problem.
all-rounder, at least you need to warrant a position through your batting or bowling.
Hmm.
Not either are there, not on potential. I think Tirimana had highlighted something on Twitter today where he had said, it's not about potential, but it's about the returns, right? You don't
Yeah.
keep on investing in a company if the stock shares are not going up and it's eternally going down. You move out of it. So there are certain decisions to be made, and we need to use the horses for courses. I'm sorry, Dhananjay De Silva doesn't have a place in the T20 setup. I mean, I thought that you know if the conditions were slow and low, yes, you could do, but that's again a defensive move.
Yeah.
And so those, again, sorry for the names that are being used, but I think we had to
Yeah.
have a
I
cutthroat
think it's
culture
time.
where
Absolutely. Yeah.
if you don't perform, I mean, DDS is a fabulous player in the test format. I mean, like super resource, but looks like he doesn't have the skill set to succeed in T20s. Just a case of example, and we need to make those decisions. The good thing is we have probably more than 24 months, but the bad thing is 24 months can go within a blink of an eye. So therefore, the changes have to be made, and I think people need to be held accountable. The administration as SSC, whoever who have taken the calls, and the media propaganda that was carried out, and have people with pure intentions. I would absolutely love to see the likes of Roshan Mahanama, Siddharth Vittamoni, Aravinda De Silva, Sangha, Mahela, the people who are not making noises to be at the
Hmm.
helm. There's a big
Absolutely.
difference if you go around and look. Murali has been brutal with his take, right? He has been
Yeah.
unpopular for that reason, but he
Absolutely. Yeah.
didn't sugarcoat. He didn't predict Sri Lanka will go into semi-finals and all that. But again, look, I'm also another thing which I'm really concerned about is look at the amount of work a person like Malinga has done with Nuwan Tushar. But
Hmm.
how frequently has he been involved with Sri Lankan cricket in recent times? One of the best tactical brains. I think after the Australian series and one of the World Cups, he hasn't been frequently involved. And
Hmm.
why is
Yeah.
it so? Because the likes of Mahela, Sangha, and Malinga, these people know the latest advancements in T20 cricket, right? They know
Yeah.
where the game is going forward. Whereas
Yeah.
some of our older, I mean, the much celebrated people don't have. So you need to be open to that fact. Why aren't we
Yeah.
using them?
Hmm.
And so I think it's a complete system reset, Pavan. But
Yeah.
I highly doubt whether that would happen. And I think the probability of if we are in touch and if we do this type of a podcast, look, I hope at least we were the contenders for semifinals 2 years down the line. But the
Yeah.
chances are very bleak, in my opinion.
Anyways, thank you so much, Aravinda, for taking your time, and your valuable time for coming. It's really hard, getting you on also. But thank you so much once again with your valuable inputs and all. It was really glad to have you on the show.
Thank you, Pavan. And thanks a lot, Akila. It was a pleasure connecting with you both. Thank you. See you.
All right, see
Thank
you,
you for
Aravinda. All right, yeah.
See you.
All right, so let's continue for a bit, Akila, before ending this in this video right here. Just want to take some comment section and also discuss a bit more on the match also. So coming to the Sri Lankan first innings, obviously we scored 124 for 6, if I'm not mistaken, in the 20 overs. So Akila, coming to you, obviously Pathum Nissanka was the only one who actually, performed well with the bat. So what do you think was the past score on that pitch, Akila? Like if Sri Lanka, how much runs should they have scored if they wanted to win against Bangladesh today, according to you?
I mean, personally, like, okay, so if you divide 100 by 14, which and also add another 40 runs in the next 6 overs, we should have not looked anything under 140. Like 140 was very much gettable
Yeah,
because, like I said again, we had 57 dot balls. We didn't rotate the strike. And we so like we easily could have converted at least 10 of those dot was into single or double scoring overs, so I think 140 was very much gettable, and yeah, we definitely threw away our wickets because it was just very, I would say, unacceptable to lose that, to be restricted that kind of score after being 100 for 3 in 14 overs,
over.
and
Yeah,
then end up and then not, continue to be dot balls
collapsing
and getting the
100 to
dot ball
89.
pressure, because that's the thing. I guess what I see is like I said, we already mentioned about adaptability. I still haven't been able to complete my stat analysis on adaptability, like when it comes to playing in away or neutral conditions against quality opposition. So
Yeah,
while that's still in progress, I just feel like we try to always try to use the same approach, and think that we should target 180 from the first ball itself. I mean, scores are very much different, and playing in unknown territory is clearly not really working out if we are going with that same mentality, because if we can't always bank on the big shots, you need to keep rotating the strike and try to reduce dot balls. So yeah, 140 was definitely a gettable score, and also somewhat defendable if we manage to not let those singles go away, and probably had a little more and a more slightly more attacking field set, because I saw a couple of comments of the field settings after the sixth over was completed. So, I mean, Bangladesh, they played very much better. I mean, personally, for me, the way they played, they definitely deserve to be winners. You can't,
yeah, yeah.
take away that, because the way they fielded in most occasions, the way they bowled, even the way they took the Sri Lanka batting to the cleaners. Yes, they did lose 8 wickets, but somehow they got over the line, and
Right.
it wasn't, and with an over left, so that itself shows it wasn't necessarily a close match. They definitely deserve to win, but unfortunately Sri Lanka have, they only have themselves to blame for their
Loss. Yeah.
misfortunes.
Yeah.
And I did mention this in the Grand Style podcast went in space. There, even winning against Netherlands and Nepal will not be enough, because the net run rate is going to play a lot, and by that it would also mean to either score really really high. I mean, we haven't come across a lot of high scoring matches yet, because I can be wrong. I think the highest score was 174 uh,
I think
or so.
194, 195 USA chased against Canada in the
USA,
first
yeah,
in the first
you
match
the
itself.
USA, but the thing is that that's a home team, so they are very much used to their conditions. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting few days ahead, because the
But otherwise,
elimination is not.
I think Australia scored 164 against Uganda. I think sorry, against Oman. I think, and then sorry, Afghanistan scored 183 against Uganda. Yeah. So if you are not considering USA, I think Afghanistan has scored the highest today against New Zealand, 159 and 100. But that's in all West Indies pitches, though.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to also consider like where these matches are being played, and yeah, the like the net run is going to
And
play
right
a
now, I think just
really
to
big
update
role,
the match,
because
Netherlands are 62 for 6 after 14.3 overs against South Africa. So that also we'll have to be eyeing on that match also. It seems like South Africa are going to
yes.
win that match. But coming back, just want to take some comments also before wrapping up this also. Northern Districts here, Krishna says, any reasons of dropping Sadira Samaravikrama and playing Kamindu continuously?
Personally, I mean, I did have a lot of like thoughts on that because they are not the most experienced players in the T20 international format for Sri Lanka, and it's like and they are neither the most attacking players as well. But I mean, Kamil can hit if if he is capable of hitting, but and he's a really good player against spin. So I feel like okay, maybe he doesn't necessarily belong in the power play itself, so we can probably afford to put him at a number four position. But at the same time, we don't really have a lot of batting options anyway. This is the team we have, and the you know for me, I feel like the batsmen are like a fixed set, and then only the bowlers get rotated. So whether you like it or not, and I think Kamido will have to play right throughout. And
Yeah,
Sadir, he is. I mean, he did get out for a first ball duck in the previous match, and
yeah,
I feel like they needed to bring an extra spinner in today's game in the form of Dhananjay De Silva because Unique Velalage is not uh, you know he's still relatively young, so I think that's why they wanted to make a change. And funny thing,
absolutely.
think I mentioned this before. I was very intrigued by the fact that rather than using ChatGPT, Gemini AI has access to very recent information, Gemini by Google. And I
Yeah,
asked a few questions like, okay, I'm not happy with how Sri Lanka played against South Africa. What should be the change made in order to ensure like a winning combination? Now I can't ask this question from ChatGPT unless I subscribe to Premium. But when I asked this question from Gemini, he suggested that since Bangladesh are very much used to playing against spinners, it's and we need to uh, differentiate a variety, like maybe try to bring in a spin bowling all rounder or left arm spinner in place of a top order batsman. So I
mm,
thought it was very interesting, and that when I try to get the names out, even Gemini AI mentioned that okay, you have Dhananjay De Silva who can batting at probably number four, which anyway, and to exclude Sadira if he's not playing as wicket keeper. So I did get the answers like in one paragraph, but when you keep
yeah,
asking like okay, who to bring out, like I'm just taking AI as an example of how like what AI said to make a
yeah,
change based on
absolutely.
data it has. uh, so this is not me saying, this is what the search results in Gemini AI said to replace Dhananjay with uh, Sadir, and I actually can't believe it happened. I don't know whether that was the same thing the team analyst did, but that would have been a very controversial tweet if I had. Actually, I was going to post that about bringing Dhananjay in for Sadir.
I
This
think
is the
even
result
I
that
considered
we
Dhananjay
had.
coming and playing this match actually because of the way that Sadira
Yeah,
played last match, and
yeah,
especially with how
yes,
much turn is what's going to happen in Dallas. Even I expected Dhananjay to replace Sadira today, so that was the
yeah,
right change. And I did call
yeah.
that even in yesterday's podcast. Sorry, yesterday's video also in my playing 11.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
typing that and I kind of thought to myself like, will this be too controversial? But anyway, we saw the results today, and I think yeah, that's basically what happened, and you can't change that anymore.
yeah. Just talking about Hidroy also, 40 of 20, and then we had Litton Das also playing very sensibly. Thoughts on these both batters, and especially Hidroy? I don't know, for some reason he has that nick against Sri Lanka. Always performs against Sri Lanka for some reason. He played in the LPL 2 seasons. I think we saw comments also, bring back Hidroy in the Lanka Premier League also. Let's see what happens with the Dambulla franchise owners. I really don't know. Saying Rishad Hidroy should be in the LPL, Actually, Dambulla Thunders are no longer there. It's the Dambulla Sixers now. So let's see what the Dambulla franchise will do over that. But thoughts over both the innings of Liton Das and Towhid Hridoy, and which knock actually was the key that brought Bangladesh home? Was it that knock from Liton Das where he went at 94 strike rate, the 36 of 38, or was it that knock from Hridoy in your opinion?
The moment when Hydra went for three sixes, that was when the runs really went down. Yes, he did get out, but actually, when I mean, having scored so much in such few balls he faced, and bringing the required run rate down, that was the impactful innings that made the change. Like if Litindas lasted a little longer, maybe you can consider that when the wickets are falling, maybe you can consider that as the more sensible one, because if you look like 4 for 91 and 5 for 99, Hridoy and Litindas. So I conclude that it was Hridoy's innings that really changed the
But don't you
momentum of
think, Akila, that
Bangladesh.
sorry to interrupt, but don't you think that Hidroy is not really sorry, Hidroy's dismissal nearly costed Bangladesh also because he was trying to attempt a sweep shot and try to hit a six and then he got out of Hasaranga. But don't you think, in case if Sri Lanka got those two wickets, if Nuwan Tushara got those two wickets or some other bowler got those two wickets, the Hidroy would have got the blame for the way that he got dismissed after hitting three sixes of Hasaranga, after hitting the three
Sorry, I
sixes
didn't.
and getting dismissed. Yeah, I
I
was just saying.
didn't get the question.
I
Like
was I
I
was saying that, yeah, I was just saying that if Sri Lanka got the last two wickets, in case if they won the match, don't you think Hidroy would have got the blame from Bangladesh with the way that he got dismissed after hitting three sixes of Hasaranga, the way that he tried to intend to play a fourth six and then got out sweeping of Hasaranga because he was trying to attempt to hit another six, but then he got dismissed. Don't you think like he could have got the blame also in case if Bangladesh lost this match
definitely,
because he could
because
stand in the end? Yeah.
yeah, I when before the question came, I said even though he got out after three sixes, like that was the real game changer, because at the end of the day, T20 is about high risk, high reward. If you are not willing to take the risk, then it's not you are not going anywhere. So
Yeah,
but at the end, also at the end of the day, cricket is a team game, so you have to you know it's like one innings can make a difference, but at the end of the day, it takes an entire team to win yourself a game. So I don't
absolutely.
think Hridoy alone should not get the blame, because I mean, if he, like, why should he only bat? There are 10 other batsmen in the team. Like, I don't think like fans would blame him, but how you shouldn't blame your best performing batsman because you have 10 others who are not contributing. If you look at the scorecard, you have I think except for Mahmudullah, you rest are like less than 8 runs, a single digit. So uh,
Yeah,
if result went the other way, I don't think I think it's very unfair to blame Hridoy for performing so well when others haven't performed. So that's my thoughts on that.
absolutely. Agree. Also coming back to the Sri Lankan bowling, your thoughts on Nuwan Tushar also, and now we have the remaining two matches against Nepal and Netherlands. What will Sri Lanka do actually? Will they bring a Madhushanka or because we have the last match against Netherlands in West Indies actually. So do you think like in those slow conditions we'll actually bring in a Madhushanka because he can swing the ball, seam the ball just like Mustafizur, and pick up wickets. Do you feel that will happen, or will they they'll stick to both Patirana and Tushar? But first of all, your thoughts on Nuwan Tushar's performance today, and also thoughts on what we will do with the fast bowling lineup in the upcoming matches.
Yeah, could you scroll down a little bit so that we can see the bowling card?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just give me a second. Yeah. Sorry, this. Yeah. Can you see now? Yeah. Sorry, I think I
Yes, I
went over.
can.
Yeah.
So as you can, as like, I mean, personally, I don't want to take just one innings, one innings for comparison. But as you can see, Nuwan again, once again, has been like very successful against Bangladesh with a 4-for. Last time he faced Bangladesh, it was a 5-for, and
Mm,
his run rate has been, like, his economy has been like really really low. Like
yeah.
I mean, uh, like you can see that he did give 5 wides, but when you consider all the other runs, it has barely has barely given any runs. Matish in particular has
One for
given
27 4 overs, but then first over he went for 12 runs and then he came back in the third last
yes,
2 overs
yes,
because he conceded
yeah,
21 runs in the first 2 overs and then only he came back in the last 2 overs when he bowled. But then already,
yes,
wickets
yeah.
fell.
Yeah, that's the thing, because personally for me it's like I'm not a very big fan of having two very similar bowlers, especially in the T20 format. I mean, personally I think when it comes to like the current form, Nuwan Tushar is slightly ahead. And if you look at the statistics, I think Chamira deserves the chance to go ahead before Madhushankar, but the difference is Madhushankar is a left-arm fast bowler who can travel, who can make early inroads with his in swingers. So I think if we do play in the maybe West Indies or Nepal, I think Nepal in particular we really need to change the way how we use our fast bowlers. I mean, sometimes we do. I feel like one of the reasons why Sri Lanka has been particularly poor with their changes is like I feel like they are not ready to make the unpopular decisions. Like you have these social media followings of individual players, and the moment you drop one of the players, it's like almost causing a riot. So I think the selectors had to be very sorry, not the selectors, the coach has to be very bold with who they want to bowl in these kind of conditions. You can't always use the same people to you can't. It's like you don't have a blueprint for like all like all instances. You can't always use the same kind of words. You need to understand, okay, who is more likely to get the bet out of the particular surface they are going to play. West Indies will be definitely slightly different. So I expect a change to be made. It's not about dropping a player because they're not performing. It's about bringing some a bowler who is better suited
Better
in
suited
that
wickets.
particular
Yeah,
condition.
absolutely.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
saw that
agreed.
that's the thing. Otherwise, personally, player rotation has been relatively poor with Sri Lanka in the past. We like play them until they like either get injured, or in some cases we do make changes, but it's always in the case of an all-rounder, almost never for specialist players. So we not only
Absolutely.
all round, we don't need to only change the all-rounders, we need to change specialists as well, and understand who plays in which match, because ideally it would be good to make one change every match unless you win. If you win, it's okay to go with the same 11, but you have to at least make one change every match. And if you are playing in different surfaces, you need to change the fast ball and see, okay, who and like that. But these are things you should not do during a World Cup. These are things you should do before. So
Before the World Cup.
unfortunately, Sri Lanka
Absolutely.
has not been very successful in that sense. So yeah, that's all I can say about, like, it's pointless talking about having such a good okay, so there's a question
Yeah,
on
they've asked
Malaysia.
why do you think Matish excel in IPL and not much for Sri Lanka cricket? That's another
He has
question.
seen many questions on this, and the most common answer is the dressing room environment, because the kind of the captaincy experience is very much different when it comes to playing under Mahendra Singh Dhoni and Sri Lanka's captain, because like there's a big difference in the experience, being told what to do. So like the bowler knows that there's somebody to guide them, and that's and Matisha, he's not an experienced bowler. He's, I think, he just turned
21,
21.
22. Yeah, still.
Yeah, 21, 22 is still very young. So like he needs that somebody to guide him and tell what needs to be done. So
Um,
that's
yeah,
why why he's not particularly successful with Sri Lanka, playing for Sri Lanka as compared to the IPL, where the where there is a very big difference in the dressing room environment, and especially playing under an experienced captain who is always guiding the bowlers behind the wicket. So that's the big change there.
Absolutely. I just want to also take this comment also from Aman. I couldn't take this earlier. He has said Asaranga's captaincy isn't good enough. His fielding placement in the final few overs were awful and bowling. Shanaka, is he out of his mind? Reviewing wise, he was okay. Yeah, I think a lot of people are also asking about the Shanaka over in the 18th over. Was that the right call? Should we have gone for Matthews also? And any comments on this comment also on Hasaranga's
It's not.
captaincy?
I mean, at some point you would definitely have to turn to those bowlers because you only have four frontline bowlers in your bowling artillery. But at the same time, it was about using the bowlers at the right time. We didn't have a lot of runs to defend, and also we exhausted all of our key leading fast bowlers to get the wicket. So, I mean, I understand that Hasaranga was very attacking with the bowlers, like using your best bowlers to get your wickets. But when it came to last two, he was clueless. So it's good to go for wickets, but at the same time, you need to use your resources well and plan till the end of the innings. Like you have to somehow ensure that you drag the innings for towards the 20th over, because if you don't get all wickets, you need to ensure at least you bowl enough of dot balls and and make it go till that's the final over. So personally, I don't think it was a very good move to bring Dasun Chanaka at the very end unless he was bowling before.
Absolutely.
That was being his first over. Like surely anyone would be very nervous to bowl your very first over in the uh, in the at that. Shanaka has done that before when he was captain. So
Hmm.
that was different. And normally, Dasun Chanaka has a very good bowling strike rate. In fact, he has the
Yeah.
third best among the fast bowlers. Believe it or
Hmm.
not. Like I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
remember the under which condition, but somehow he has a bowling strike rate of 16. So you can expect him to get a wicket if he bowls at least 3 overs. So personally, not bowling any over before the 19th over really costed a lot, because it takes
Absolutely.
at least 1 over to properly get settled. And I mean, it's definitely one of the ugliest full tosses he has ever bowled in his
Yeah.
career.
Yeah.
Now
Absolutely. Yeah.
he's going to play his 100th T20 in the next match against Nepal,
Nepal.
I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct if I was, yeah.
No,
So
it's
that will
Nepal.
be his
Yeah.
100th T20. So yeah, yeah. So someone who has that much experience bowling a full toss like that is somewhat unacceptable. But at the same time, it
I think
was
that
not the
that
right
could have
call
been
to
that was due to
wait.
the pressure. I would feel that would have been due to the pressure. I feel, especially defending. But you expect experienced
I
bowler like Shanaka to deal with that though.
I feel he was going for the slower full toss, but the ball was a little too fast and didn't necessarily go slow, because the only time you would bowl something that is for to go for the slow full toss, you invite the batsman to make the play the shot, but it's coming a little
A bit
slow.
is slower, but
So
I think that's
I don't.
due to the
It
dew
didn't
and
come
the
slow.
yeah. That's because of the dew.
It
I think
didn't.
it's a
That's
bit
the
difficult to grip the ball. I feel that was the disadvantage of bowling
yes,
second. I feel on this
yes.
pitch. That's why he couldn't
Yeah, that's
execute it.
the intention of boarding a full toss like that was to expect it to go a little slower, but
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah, I get it. Yeah,
It just went really horribly wrong. So
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
ultimately what happened.
Yeah, I just want to take this comment from SJ also. He has said, I wish Kusal Mendis was consistent though, like Akila would be great. Why would you think most of Sri Lankan players aren't consistent? It's another good question. Why aren't the Sri Lankan cricketers, especially the batters, I would feel, not that much consistent compared to the last 10 years or 20 years? Is it the skill set as, I mean, Aravindan just point out the skill set that the Sri Lanka has. I mean, definitely Sri Lanka has the talent. I mean, the batters have the talent for sure. Is it the skill set or is it the mindset? And how can we improve that? If there's an issue with the mindset, how can we sort that out? If we have issue with the mentality, the players have a issue with the mentality. How can we sort it out? Because it's a huge issue right now. If the players are not being consistent and giving enough chances to these cricketers, and if they're not taking the full opportunity out of it.
I when it comes to batters, you play in pairs. So I think that, and I don't really see a lot of partnerships being built except for the opening partnership between Kusal Mendis and Nissanka. With that as an exception, I who as a very like they normally have they still do have a very good average for a partnership. Like they do have I think 33 runs, and they have scored the most runs playing together.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, batters they need to support each other. Like they are, conceding to mid-off ball still just to give a single, rotate that's so like consistency also matters. Like you need some sort of support, right? There have been so many instances where we have seen people saying our batsmen are not talking to each other like that. I mean, it's not about run; it's about telling, like give the single, or like try to kind of like if someone is struggling to hit a few runs, so you need to play in pairs, and like that is the only way. Like if you help the other batsman also, is the I think the only way you can play your game, because
Yeah.
both have to
Absolutely.
play well in order, like have to support each other in order for both to play well. Otherwise,
Mm.
like you need your fellow batsman to run with you. So like it's because you need him as well to complete the run, right? So
Yeah.
the
Absolutely.
communication, the support from the other end, it's really, because if I mentioned, I don't even mention this, but there was a time when Brett Lee in an interview, I think during IPL, once said that the slower ball he bowled never worked against Sri Lanka, and it was Kumar Sangakkar who revealed to him that because the non-striker is always looking at the grip he is holding, he is able to give an indication to the batter whether he's going to bowl a slow one or not. So
Yeah.
that is the kind of the kind of batting partnership we had in the past, and cost comes with experience. But in again, I don't really think that we have that kind of technicality when it comes to playing the cricket we are playing as compared to how we were in the past. So that's one thing we are really lacking.
Yeah. All right. So I think we'll ask one more question before wrapping this up. I want to talk about the coaching staff a bit. So I believe this is going to be the last assignment for Chris Silverwood. If I'm not mistaken, like I think they'll have to renew his contract if they're going to extend his contract. Do you think Chris Silverwood deserves to get renewed his contract, especially after Sri Lanka Cricket Board not renewing Mickey Arthur's contract after the momentum that we had, especially under Mickey Arthur, because he only pursued with Pathum Nisanka, Charita Salanka, and all these players, and then they groomed. Do you think there's a point to renew Chris Wood's contract right now with how he's progressed? Because yes, we won the Asia Cup 2022, but we had some highs, but we have some really, really bad lows also. Right now, finishing ninth in the ODI World Cup, and I'm not sure what's going to happen in this 2020 World Cup. So, does he deserve to be renewed, or renew the contract, or we have to look for a new head coach? And if we are looking for a new head coach, who should we consider?
Personally, I think Chris Silverwood has done a really nice job, especially with the young players. But at the end of the day, you do need results. So I think, and personally, I would like to see him have the contract extended. But I feel like it's there is a very big chance for a local player, like a former player, to come and help in the ranks as the head coach. I mean, there's a lot of talk of a certain person, trying to make his way into the into the position as head coach. If you have been following some of the
Yeah, yeah, I have. Yeah,
recent TV shows that have been happening, there's
yeah,
one name
I
that
know.
does stick out for the position. But personally, for me, I still believe yes, the like Chris has been excellent with managing young players, and our players definitely deserve to have him as coach. So I still think he should the Sri Lanka cricket should consider review his contract.
All right. I want to take one more question over here. Sorry to extend over here, Akila, but we'll finish it after this for sure. SJ has said Kusal Mendis stats even as an opener, it's not good against top quality teams though. Australia, England, India, South Africa, New Zealand, Pakistan is 25 average, 130 strike rate. It's exceptional, as you said, only against weaker teams, 37 average, 150 strike rate. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, actually, like I mentioned that as a whole, he's good as an opener, but once again, it is not like like you can't call it exceptional when it comes against the stronger teams, right? So
Yeah,
I I mean, yes, he does have a 150 strike rate against like lesser ranked teams, but that is something that he has to address because personally he's someone who's very good at playing with the long handle, but at the same time he takes a lot of like if he takes a lot of time to get settled, he'll almost never uh, makes a good run. So personally, I don't have a lot to say about it, but
yeah,
yeah, that's a good thing you pointed out. Which that's the thing. I didn't want to discuss too much on individual player, but those are the
yeah,
numbers that are there. And it is part of my stat analysis, which I'm going to do, and to point out that these are the players who have been exceptional in playing against foreign conditions. And my objective is to talk about adaptability and
mm,
how players are
absolutely.
World Cup ready. I'm not trying to put anyone down or say that these are the the underperformers and should be removed from the team, but this is
Exactly.
about planning and adaptability. So I hope that once I complete it, hopefully by tomorrow, I will procrastinate it is so much, and I think you get overwhelmed by the sheer number that you want to include. So I came to the decision that it's better to divide batting and bowling separately because there's so many numbers to discuss. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is the difference you have in Kusami's stats, and I hope to address that very soon.
Yeah. All right, so we'll wrap things up, guys. So thank you so much, Akila, once again for joining. Yes, we went past the 1 hour mark, but we had a lot of things to discuss about. And yes, I'll put timestamp so then people will watch the video after watching this. But thank you so much in the comment section. We had SJ, we had T, we had so much good comments. Good questions being asked from the comment section. So thank you so much. That's why we took all the comments. Even Aman, thank you so much, guys. For asking these sort of questions because it's worth it. Asking about what's really going on with Sri Lanka cricket. But once again, thank you so much, Akila, even Aravinda and Mahir. Unfortunately, Mahir had an internet connection issue and then Aravinda had to go off early. But thank you so much, Akila, for staying through. I know we went past the hour mark, but thank you so much for taking your time and discussing on this crucial match that Sri Lanka had to win, but unfortunately, they lost the match.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
thank you
Yes.
for
Yeah.
having me, and good to share my thoughts on the match today.
Yeah. All right, guys. So do check out the sidelines on Facebook, guys, and on Twitter as well on X, as you say. So do check out the sidelines as he's revealed that he's going to give the stat analysis on the batters and bowlers separately tomorrow. So do check that out on the sidelines whenever he posts it. And do follow Akhilas Ratna as usual on Twitter. And also follow Aravindan as well, Cricket Decoded on
Yeah,
X as well, because he gives brilliant analysis on Sri Lanka cricket and gives straight out facts also. So do follow them. So do subscribe to Sports Breakdown, like, comment, and share. And hopefully we can come back next week with another analysis, maybe the mid review of the 2020 World Cup. Until then, guys, see you guys and have a good night and good morning wherever you are. So thank you guys and see you in the next video. Goodbye, guys.